You know, guys, at this point, I don't know how to describe the president. Every time when Ramaphosa speaks, we are left shocked by the things that this man says. Every time. And how is it possible that one can actually become the president of the country and at the same time have no respect for the people of this country? Because this is exactly what Ramaphosa is. He is the president of this country, and at the same time, he has no respect for the people of this country. I don't know if you guys saw it or what. There is a video that actually shocked me. This video is doing the rounds on the internet. This is the president of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, speaking about this issue of illegal Spaza shops and how South Africans should actually deal with this issue of illegal Spaza shops. So basically, President Ramaphosa is urging South Africans not to take the matters into their own hands. South Africans must trust the government because the government actually knows what they are doing. And Ramaphosa is now threatening South Africans, telling them that if you guys take the matters into your own hands, the law is going to deal with you. And now people are outraged that this law applies when it comes to South Africans, but when it comes to the people that are jumping the borders to get into the country illegally, to sell in this country illegally, the law does not apply. And Ramaphosa is very clear. He says that if you guys take the matters into your own hands, the law will ban you. Which actually raises the questions. Why is the law not banning the people that are committing crimes in this country? Why is the law not banning the people that got into this country, possibly illegally, to open the Spaza shops that are not even registered, to sell contaminated food to the people of this country? Why is the law not banning those people? But now, South Africans are now finding their voices. He says, no, you guys must not even try to do anything. Because if you do that, the law is going to ban you. I mean, what kind of a president is that? Whose side is Ramaphosa on? Is Ramaphosa on our side as the people of this country, or is Ramaphosa on the side of these people that are operating these illegal Spaza shops, aka the death threats that are all over the townships? Whose side is Ramaphosa on? How can you, as the president of the country, tell the people that we are going to deal with you if you try to take the matters into your own hands? But at the same time, the people that are in government, and he is the leader of those people that are in government, he is not even acknowledging the fact that it is our fault that these people are in the country to start. It is our fault that these people are in this country and these people are operating illegally in this country. This actually reminds me of that case last week of a 5-year-old child that actually died in Diepkloof. The councillor in Diepkloof says that the people must actually ensure that the Spaza shops are regulated. She says that basically it is the fault of the people that these Spaza shops are operating in their townships. But if people try to stand up and say, we no longer want these Spaza shops to operate in our communities, the same councillors and the same people in the government, they will be sending the police so that the police can stop the people from getting rid of these people. So whose side are these people actually operating from? Like, it is so hard for me to understand. It is so hard for me to understand. I was so shocked with the councillor there in Diepkloof not even acknowledging that the ANC government is the one that actually allowed the borders to be open. And now people are doing as they please. And the president actually has the audacity live on national television to threaten South Africans, to tell them that if they try to do anything, if they try to protect their communities, then the law is going to deal with them. This is shocking.
Well, as a government, we don't encourage people to take the law into their hands. That is just a standard approach. Government has its structures that are empowered, that have the authority to work within the law to deal with issues like this.
I mean, He says that the government has the structures. How many children must actually die in this country before those structures actually do something? South Africans must just sit back and allow their children to die because the president of the country says that the government actually has its own structures that are empowered. So where are those structures? Where are those structures? You see, the organizations like the South African Human Rights Commission, they were quick to actually go to Stilfontein to try to convince the government to actually help those people that are pretending to be stuck underground. But when South African children are dying because of the food that they are, like, these children are dying because of the food that they are eating. These children are dying because they are sold contaminated food. There's mountains and mountains of evidence of poison and all sorts of things found in these snacks. The South African Human Rights Commission is nowhere to be found. So now Ramaphosa says that no, you guys must just sit down and relax because the government has its structures and these structures are actually empowered to work for the people of this country. So the question for me to the president of the country is, how many children must die before those government structures actually do something? How many children are you waiting to die before you actually do something about it? Because now, when you go on social media, you can see that there is some sort of a revolution that is taking place in this country. The people are closing those Spaza shops by themselves. The people are saying, we are sick and tired of actually trying to wait for this government of Ramaphosa that actually moves like a snail. We are not going to wait for that. And we are going to close these Spaza shops by ourselves. So now he's coming out to say, no, you guys must not do that. You must allow these people to continue selling you contaminated food. Your children must continue to die because the government actually has the structures that are actually empowered. Whose side are these people on? Whose side?
Well, as a government, we don't encourage people to take the law into their hands. That is just a standard approach. Government has its structure.
So the people of this country must not take the laws into their own hands. But illegal foreigners can actually take the laws into their own hands. The people must not take the laws into their own hands. But these people that we don't even know where they come from, they can take the laws into their own hands. And there is nothing that this government that actually has the structures, like the president says, can do about it. So South Africans must sit down and allow their communities to be destroyed. South Africans must sit down and allow their country to actually be destroyed because they are not allowed to take the matters into their own hands. But the people that are getting into this country illegally and operate all sorts of businesses can actually take the laws into their own hands because this is what they have done. These shops that are all over the townships, these shops that are not registered, that are all over the townships, these death traps that are all over the townships, these people who are operating those have taken the laws into their own hands. They have taken the laws into their own hands. And we have not yet seen the president actually condemn these people. They are condemning South Africans, but they are not condemning the people that are actually committing the crimes. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. South Africans must sit there like children, and the president must condemn South Africans. But when it comes to the people that are actually committing the crimes, these people that are all over the townships, these people that are taking the buildings in the middle of the cities and selling the drugs, these people that are operating the brothels, no, there is no condemnation for those people. But there is condemnation for South Africans that are trying to do something to take their country back.
Well, as a government, we don't encourage people to take the law into their hands. That is just a standard approach. Government has its structures that are empowered, that have the authority to work within the law to deal with issues like this. And when we made the announcement, we did say government officials through its various agencies is the one that will be going from shop to shop, checking whether they are registered. That's why we gave the option to the users, to those who are involved in this trade, to come forward and register. And obviously we have now realized that there is some crookery that is going on, where people are using other people to register when they themselves are not registrable. So we are going to go into that. We are going to fathom into that, but we call on our people, do not take the law into your hands.
So what about the municipalities that are selling the permits to these people that are operating these death traps? When is the government of Ramaphosa that has the structures actually going to deal with these people that are selling the permits? Because there's mountains of evidence for that. You know, when it comes to this issue of the illegal Spaza shops, Ramaphosa always addresses the issues that he says that we have given these people 21 days, but he says nothing about the fact that 3 warehouses were actually found in KZN. Huge warehouses were actually found in KZN. And it was actually discovered that some of these countries in SADC, they are dumping their illegal food, or they are dumping their illegal goods in South Africa, because they know that in South Africa there's actually market for those illegal expired goods. South Africa has literally become a dumping ground for these SADC countries. And Ramaphosa says nothing about that. He says that no, there is 21 days, as if this 21 days is actually going to do something. How about you actually address the issue of the ports? How about you actually address the fact that they are dumping expired food, they are dumping expired goods in this country? How about you talk about that? How about you address the fact that warehouses all over South Africa, because if there are 3 warehouses that were found in KZN, you can just think that how many warehouses in this country that are actually operating like those warehouses that were actually exposed by the premier of KZN. He's not addressing the core issue. He's not addressing the core issue. He talks about 21 days. How is 21 days going to help? 21 days is not going to help anything. And he says, no, we've seen that there's some sort of crookery because there are people that are registering on behalf of these people. Of course, you guys have not even set up the systems that can actually prevent that. You guys have not actually set up the systems that can actually prevent that. That's why some municipalities are actually selling these permits to these people. That's why they are doing that, because they know that, okay, this 21 days deadline for Ramaphosa, this is our 21 days to actually make some money. And they are making money. They are making money.
Them into that, but we call on our people, do not take the law into your hands. The law can burn you. And so therefore you wait for the law enforcement agencies, you cooperate with them, you point them in the right direction, and they are the ones who must take actions. Otherwise,
he says the law will burn you. He actually says the law will burn the people of this country. The law will burn you.
Wait for the law enforcement agencies, you cooperate with them, you point them in the right direction, and they are the ones who must take actions. Otherwise, you face consequences needlessly on your own when you work outside of the law.
So when are the people going to face consequences, man? When are criminals going to face the consequences? When are corrupt ANC members going to face the consequences? When are corrupt ministers going to face the consequences? When are the criminals going to face the consequences? Like, this is what you actually must see, guys. They are willing and they are ready to apply the law when it comes to you. The taxpayer, they are willing to apply the law when it comes to you. And he says this as if this country is protected. We as the ANC, we have the integrity and we have protected this country, and we are proud that we have protected this country. There is minimum crime that is happening in this country because the law is actually dealing with the people that are committing crimes. But the truth of the matter is that nothing is actually working. People are committing crimes left, right, and center. Every day in this country, people are committing crimes. People are getting slaughtered in their own neighborhoods in this country every day. And those people are not facing the law. So why must innocent South Africans be told that if you guys try to do anything, then the law is going to deal with you? Why is it okay to threaten South Africans, to tell them that the law is going to deal with them, when there are so many people that are committing crimes every day in this country, and the law is not even dealing with that?
Want people to work within the law. What we have done is open an opportunity to legalize those that meet the regulations and the conditions. And those that don't meet the standards, who don't comply, we will close them. And we've already started closing a number of Spaza shops, particularly those that have suspicious storing facilities, that are selling suspicious goods. Those are being closed. But we say to our people, work with our authorities to make sure that this does happen.
Man, like this just shows you how out of touch these people are. It just shows you how out of touch these people are. They don't know how urgent it is for these Spaza shops to actually be closed. They don't know how urgent it is because they are so out of touch. They think everything can actually operate in our own time. Like, we don't have to rush into actually fixing these things, despite the South Africans crying. Like, even the mothers who have actually lost their children. Have you guys ever heard the president of the country says that condolences to those families? Have you seen the president of the country visiting those families that have lost their children because of the contaminated food that they have consumed? He has no empathy. He has no empathy even for the people that have lost their children in this matter. He has no empathy. He has never actually sat down and actually addressed this issue in a humility way. He has never sat down with the parents to try to understand what were the parents actually going through. He has never done that. He has never done that. But for some reason, he actually wants the South Africans to think that this is something that he believes in. He believes in actually solving this problem. Ramaphosa attends everything in this country. Everything. He is there. Everything. The floods, everything. But when it comes to this issue of children dying, when it comes to actually sitting down with the mothers that have lost their children, this is something that the president of the country is not even willing to do. He's not even willing to do. And he wants the confidence of the same people. He wants the confidence of the same people. It is absolutely insane. It is insane. It's almost as if we live in a simulation. It's almost as if we live in a simulation, because I don't know why it is so hard for the president to actually visit some of these families. I don't know. Maybe he thinks that if he goes out to visit some of these families, it will be an acknowledgement from the government that the children are actually dying from eating this food that is contaminated. But for some reason, he is not going to those families. He is not speaking to those mothers. Till today, the mothers who have actually lost their children, they don't have the answers. That is the thing. They don't have the answers. They don't know what is happening. They know 1 minute my child was okay. The next minute they went to the shops. They were eating the snacks. Before I even know it, I have to call the ambulances because my child is struggling to breathe. She's sweating and everything. That's what they know. That's what they know. What has the government actually done to actually show these parents that we as the government, we are actually with you. We are actually with you. Even the president himself, the people literally had to beg him to go on stage to actually acknowledge that this is something that is happening in the country. And in 2024, like, this thing has been happening for such a long time, which is why it was an outrage for Ramaphosa to take such a long time to actually go on stage to speak about this issue, to even just acknowledge that this is what is happening in the country. The people had to beg him. He was literally begged. He was literally begged. It is not something that he did because, as the president of the country, he actually has to go out and show the people of this country that I am with you. This is not something that he has done because he is with the people. This is something that he has done because of the outrage that was taking place on the internet. This is something that he has done because of people shouting, "Where is the president?" when our children are dying. Like I said, guys, I don't even know how to describe the president. I don't even know how to describe the president. I don't even know why. Is Ramaphosa the president of the country, man? I don't know why. You know, when Jacob Zuma left, people were saying, finally we are relieved of Jacob Zuma. At least maybe something positive is going to come. Then Ramaphosa was like, no, Zuma, hold my beer. I am going to show these people what misery is. I'm going to show these people what misery is. Like, South Africa right now, even the morale is down. Even if you go on the streets, speaking with the people in the streets, the morale is down. Because people, they don't see a way. The people don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. The people don't actually believe that Ramaphosa is working so that their lives can actually be improved. The morale of the country is down. The morale of young people is down. This is what is happening right now. These are the consequences of the presidency of Ramaphosa. I remember the other day I was watching State of the Nation, Mike Shem, and Mike Shem says that Ramaphosa has actually successfully beaten South Africans into submission. And now the country is moving at his own pace. People were actually excited that, the billionaire president is coming, because this guy, he's a billionaire, he's a businessman. Then obviously he's going to run the president like a business. Maybe people were thinking that Ramaphosa is going to be something like Donald Trump, you see, running the country like a business and turning it into a success. They only realized later, like, Ramaphosa is just one of the ANC comrades. Nothing more, nothing less. He's just one of those ANC presidents. And Mike Shem said that the guy has successfully beaten South Africans to go in his pace. I mean, where are the protests? That everything is not happening. Where are the protests? You remember during Jacob Zuma's administration, there were protests. Almost every week you would see the protest, whether it's the service delivery protest, but you would see the protest. The people were actually fired up to actually go out, to actually make their voices heard about anything in this country. The fees must fall. The children were out. The students were actually out, making their voices heard to say that, no, this government is actually robbing us. Fees must fall. Fees must fall. There was some sort of patriotism in the country when Jacob Zuma was the president of the country. But now that Ramaphosa is the president of the country and he's absolutely doing a worse job than Jacob Zuma, people are now sitting down. They have been beaten and beaten into submission. We are not even making noise about anything in this country. I mean, guys, have you seen our infrastructure? Our infrastructure is a mess. There is no toy-toying about it. There is no service delivery. There is no toy-toying about it. Our townships, every corner, it has been turned into illegal dumpings. There is no toy-toy that, no, the government is not sending the trucks, and now we have this situation where every corner in the townships, it has been turned into illegal dumpings. There is no toy-toy about that. People are battling with rats. People are battling with all sorts of illnesses because of that. But there is no to about that. The sewages are all over the streets. Even in my house. In my house, I have a manhole at the corner of my house. It is starting to leak. I have a manhole at the corner of my house. It is starting to leak. Lucky enough, it is a manhole, so it is properly closed. There are people that are seeing flames in their own yards. The sewage in the streets. There is no patriotism in the country right now. There is no patriotism in the country right now. And I guess this is the point that Mike Shame was actually trying to prove. That ever since Ramaphosa has become the president of the country, South Africans we don't have the spirit of patriotism anymore. We don't have the spirit of patriotism anymore. Anything can be broken down. We just don't care as the people of this country. We just don't care. We don't care. I bet if children were actually dying when Jacob Zuma was the president of the country, man, it was going to be a hell in this country. It was going to be hell in this country. But no, South Africans, for some reason, they are still okay. They're still okay. We have waited for the mass. We have waited for the mass march, if I can put it like that. We have waited for South Africans to actually put the country in a standstill, to say that this is our children. We cannot allow something like this to actually happen anymore. These children are ours, and we are going to protect these children. So we as South Africans, we are going to stand up. No one is going to work. We are going to block everything. And we are going to make this government actually understand that these are our children. This is the future of the country that is actually dying. And we as the people of the country down in the townships, we actually believe that there is some sort of an attack on us. There's not been something like that. If you go on social media, you will see maybe somewhere in Soweto, in Randburg, you'll see like maybe somewhere people trying to toy, some people closing one Spaza shop, two Spaza shops. It is not something that we are doing as South Africans. It is not something that we are actually passionate about as South Africans. It is so sad to see, man. It is so sad to see. But anyway, guys, please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.